I am Dr. Saira,
And I'm Texas Peck.
and today
Yeah,
we're
today's
going to do something different.
very different. One of the things that we wanted to do when we started doing this was to be really open and to be as real as we know how to be. So
So before we started filming
today,
we asked ourselves, like, what is the purpose of these videos? Why do we even do this every week?
yeah, pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. So one of the things that Texas has taught me is be willing to ask the questions that you might not want the answer to.
Yeah, we say that a lot. If we ask a different question, we might get a different answer. And so that's what we did this morning. We asked a different question. We asked why.
Why?
And so what came was, with this new modality, advanced consciousness therapy, before it became what it is, we were asking questions about why.
Mm-hmm. Why do we do things the way we do? I was asking, well, after working with you, Texas, I started asking, well, why do we actually do therapy in this way?
Mm-hmm.
Who made that rule? And what's that rule about? And is it actually helping people? Or is it actually sometimes harming and creating distance between the practitioner and the client? Like I started being willing to ask.
Yeah, and it was hard.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just even remembering that time.
So those are the things we sort of look for. Our body responds, right? Your body's responding to, okay, you're on the right track here. And that was a lot of the work that we did, right? Earlier on, it was like, when you're in alignment, we call that, when we're not in this closed place, which is the whole thing with advanced therapy, and we help you to learn how to find your own truth and listen to it. And in doing that, what's one of the things that happens? We begin to ask different questions.
And as the therapist, my healing continues.
So yeah.
One of the mistakes, I think, in personal growth, self-help type of work is that it's framed in this way of some destination, right? That you're going to achieve congruence or openness or happiness or peace or a regulated nervous system or whatever, that you're going to achieve something, and then your life is going to be great.
Yeah. No.
And there's people who have been doing work, right? Whether with a one-on-one practitioner, whether on your own reading self-help books, whether taking courses and trainings and trying different modalities. And you're like, but why am I not there yet? Why don't I feel better yet?
Well, you just said it right. Why am I not there? It's like
there.
There's some kind of a destination, but there's not.
Okay, so we have to dismantle this whole perspective, Texas.
Yeah, this paradigm of that, right?
I'm buckling in for this.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these truths, right? Or frame it in a little different way.
Okay.
So let's say if there's no destination, then the journey must be the answer.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm here to learn, then the things that are in my life are there to teach me. Full stop. So then I can stop. That's all the things in my life. Things that haven't happened yet, things that are happening in this present moment, and things that have happened in my past. They're all there to teach me. Right? So if that's the case, I can fully embrace my life, and we start to what we call liberate that energy that's been stuck. We talk a lot about that, right? And that was your process, right? You the things that had kept you.
Me and all your clients.
Yeah, but
because I was watching this guy, I'm like, okay. To tell you, like, I'm working with people, with clients, and they'd get to this point where nothing was working. And then I was like, let's bring in Texas. And then started wondering, like, what is it that Texas is doing?
Yeah, me too.
Like, what is it that you're doing that's actually able to bust through?
Right. And the thing that I'm doing is nothing really to do with me. I used to have this language that I kind of developed, which we've changed because we needed better language. But I always used to say, if I could get out of the room.
Right.
If I could get out of the room, that was my way of saying, if my cognitive mind wasn't the answer for your question,
right,
I actually might be able to get an answer for your question.
That comes from a different place.
Yeah. So then it has a different energy, it has a different vibrational signature. And when we bring that into that, well, that changes everything.
So as you're talking, I'm starting to see the why of these videos as well.
Okay, good.
Right?
Please fill me in.
Well, if it's about the journey,
right.
What is the first thing I said when we talked about why we're doing these videos? I said, I love sitting with you here every weekend, just chatting.
Yeah, we get to do something we love to do.
Just being around each other and talking about interesting concepts.
Right. So in that way, it's almost like a podcast. Because
Right.
we're just we ask each other questions. We do this all the time. We're always asking questions.
And now we just thought we would record it.
Right.
In a fancy room.
Yeah.
With some good lighting.
Yes.
Some makeup.
No makeup for me, but it's coming, I'm sure. But
right? So there's no kind of like outcome. Like we want you as the listener, as the viewer, to buy some product or attend something, or we actually don't have that intention at all. We're going to be offering you any goodies that we're coming up with. Absolutely. We'll tell you about stuff we're doing, but the intention of these videos is not to get you to do something,
which is different than a lot of places,
right? And so for us, like, to kind of wrap our heads around what we're actually doing here is building community,
right? And that advanced consciousness therapy, one of the things that we have to lose, if you're interested in that as a practitioner, is having some set agenda
and some outcome.
Well, and that comes out of that first thing that you made me aware of, because I wasn't aware of that, is that most practitioners see the person coming in as broken.
Yes.
Well, if something's broken, you have to fix it.
Right.
But what if it's not broken? What if it's exactly perfect the way it is for that person's journey?
And I remember the first time I heard you say that, I found it really hard to believe.
Yeah. Right?
Right? Like, what if I'm not broken? What if all the experts that told me I have this problem, what if they were not actually seeing me at all?
Wow.
Like, they were only seeing, they had a checklist and they went through and they decided that I have this problem. And then because I have this problem now, take this medication, do this therapy, do this, da 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 da. But it's like they actually didn't see me as the potential of who I really am. They didn't see the energy that was trapped in me.
And that's the gift that all of us have the capability of doing, is when we're out of the way, we actually get to see that person. And if you guys, anybody out there, it is such a beautiful gift to be able to look at somebody and see what they have never been able to see, and hold that energy for them,
and not need them to be different in the moment. So that's the other thing, right? Because I was like, okay, well, if he's seeing the potential of who I could be, then he wants me to be that person, right?
No.
And yesterday we had an experience, right, on our walk,
sure did,
where it was like, oh, I had that with a friend of mine where she's now stepping into the person I've always seen her to be,
right,
for decades. And there's such a tender relief in that, and also no push, no agenda for that person. Again, it's not a cognitive thing. It's hard to wrap your mind around that, because it's a felt thing.
Right. So then the brain is really good at remembering things, but perhaps it's been remembering the wrong things.
Oh.
Right? Perhaps it's been remembering the wrong things. So when we start to shift into this new dynamic, right? And we start to ask those different questions that don't come from us.
Where did the questions come from?
The questions come from that unified field of consciousness.
Can you speak about what that is?
Yeah, so what we know,
for those who might have not
what we know now is that there is much more in consciousness than just what's in here. And so if we're moving into that unified field of consciousness, which I'm going to explain, is, in my belief, where all that ever was is. Now, that's a big thing to say, but that's been my experience, because I've reached in there and got answers to things that I absolutely have no way of knowing. That's kind of the joke around here.
How did you know that? Oh my gosh, we were going through our course material and the different videos in the course, and I'm like, Texas, we need to look at this. We need to spend a few hours doing this. And he's like, oh, just change video 4 to 5 and 5 to 4. And we looked at it, and it was exactly what we needed to do. But if we had done it like this, the old-fashioned way of going through the videos and watching and deciding,
you're so funny because you say old-fashioned. It's not that
old-fashioned for me. The old-fashioned way of just doing it the brain way.
Right.
And so trusting those intuitive hits that we as a human species have always had to access in order to survive in our environments. We've always had to access intuition, but in modern societies, it's been kind of dampened out.
Totally, yeah, right? Yeah.
It's like we're taught not to trust that gut feeling and that knowing that we have.
Yeah, and then when you were talking just now, and you were saying, so if you don't do that, and you go to therapy, and they tell you, okay, so here's what I know about you. You know, you have these set of symptoms, and now that gives me you have these set of symptoms. So now that tells me this about you. Think about that. That tells me as the authority about you. It's a ridiculous statement.
And that authority figure is coming in with this preset of beliefs about who you are because you have this condition.
Right.
What you're capable of, what you're not capable of, what your symptoms should be. So like a very simple one is for me that I've been kind of looking at is rest.
Right.
Right. So we live in modern societies that we live in. Many of us live in a context where rest is not encouraged. And so when I'm feeling like I need to rest, there's this whole bunch of fucking...
Glad it was her this time.
There's all of these beliefs that I have to like fight against in order to give myself permission to rest, rather than say, well, rest is a natural part of the human experience, right? And in some cultures, they get that, where the rest is actually built into the workday and things like that, but not here where we live in North America.
So then if we don't ask that, this is coming back to that piece, when we ask a different question. So if all your life you've been programmed that rest is for lazy people,
right,
or whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
Then even though you're looking at moving out of this cognitive space into this intuitive space, sometimes we need to at least ask that question. And you might be getting a hint, go lay on the couch. And then,
but there's so much to do.
So then you have to, there's this constant kind of this happening. Like I was good 10 seconds ago and now I'm pissed off.
Right.
And so detaching from that is what we teach in advanced consciousness therapy. There is a practical, repeatable way to continue to observe what's happening and know that you're in one of these two states.
Right. And not get like stuck in those old loops. Actually have a way out of those old loops all the time.
Right.
Not just sometimes when your breathing happens to be right, or your meditation practice happens to hit, or it's a beautiful sunset and so you feel good in that moment. It's like at any moment of the day we can return.
So think about that. So then if meditation is a great practice, which I think it is, but what about if we kind of view our life as one continuous learning meditation, which includes meditation, it includes reading your book, watching your favorite movie, taking a walk with someone, all of those. So we have this thing that we like to say around here. Could we find the extraordinary in the ordinary?
Mm-hmm. We're not waiting for extraordinary moments to feel better. There's actually the ordinary moments are where we feel like we can actually access all of it.
All of it.
Right now.
Right.
In the middle of making a video.
So we hope that our heart comes through in these videos. This is something we feel very privileged to bring forward because it's not something we sat and spent 10 years creating, cognitively.
It was like given to us.
Yeah. And so for me, I had access to this stuff. It's a different story, but the team around me has really helped so much to say, what the hell is this? Right?
What are you doing, magician?
Yeah.
We want to understand this.
Right. But we got it.
Yeah.
We have it. We have it in a digestible form. Monique, my wife, has written this beautiful book called The How. It's going to be available on the 28th of this month. It is
28th of June, Saturday, June 28th, 2025. Please order your copy on Amazon. I know we said we're not going to get you to do stuff, but I think you should do this.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, it's how do I say this?
Like, it's just so comprehensive.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting read. And I read a lot of freaking books. Like, I love books, lots of books, hundreds and thousands of books in my lifetime. And this is a really good book.
Yeah.
It's the right combination of information, storytelling, aha moments, feel like you're talking to the author as she's speaking to you. It's just so well done. And the principles that she's teaching, you've never heard before. You've experienced it, you felt it, but you probably haven't had language for it. Right. And she gives you language.
So that identifier is really important, right? All of us have had these experiences.
Yeah.
Everyone's had these experiences. But
to have words to talk about it and understand what actually happened.
And so then it becomes repeatable. Then it becomes not by chance. I had a great day the other day, but I don't know how I got there.
Right. I just stumbled into...
Right. Or I'm in the middle of a very stressful situation. How could I make it a great day?
Right.
Because that's also the other side of this, right? It's like, I'm not at the mercy of what's happening out there.
Right.
So if any of that really interests you, follow,
subscribe, do all the things,
and
share,
and ask questions.
Bring
That's
us
what we
your
do.
questions. Yeah. Bring us your questions in the comment section. We'd
Yeah.
love to respond,
Yeah.
either in another video or right in there.
Right.
And I think that's it for today.
Yeah. So hopefully this lands. See you later.